live. There you go. We are live. Cause shout out to Carter. You know, he had to get his reps in.
Right.
Carter has to
Normally I'm the heavy lifter. It's this guy today.
Oh my god. Alright, I'm gonna start. I'll start sharing the thing with y'all. Mouse pad being dog shit. It's okay, bro.
As I see Carter, but I don't see Carter in the chat at all anymore.
I think he's gonna come back in.
Okay.
Carter. I'm pretty sure he's gonna come back. It's just his mouse pad. So that's totally fine. That is fine. You know?
Alright.
There you
Alright,
go.
you two. Need y'all to not go back and forth.
There you go. Admit.
Apologies in advance to anyone watching this, including us on here. My dogs be assholes and they tend to run back and forth between my room and around the house when they hear stuff. So I may get up, you may hear dogs barking.
It's all good, bro.
Yellow?
It's all good.
Yellow?
Hey, what's up, man?
Oh, fuck this shit. Goddamn.
You might need to change your legal name depending on how this Zoom stuff works.
Yeah, hold up. Let me change my... How do I do that real
don't
quick?
worry. It's not showing at all. If you look at
Here,
the
we'll
stream,
do...
if you look at the stream right now, it's just legit your.
Alright, you didn't see my name. You didn't see it.
Yeah,
There it is.
It's your IG handles and your cause. That's all it is.
Alright, awesome.
Yeah, man. So you know we're gonna start at 7:30. We'll just promote this and all that stuff. So.
Alright. Yeah, I had to move a refrigerator at the last second.
Yeah, clearly. You know what? I tried to keep it kayfabe and said you were doing your reps, you know, but.
Oh yeah, I was totally doing like push-ups.
I mean,
and
that's what he was using for rep. The fucking fridge.
Exactly.
Right.
Also, I'll get a Zoe here while we're at it.
Okay.
Goddamn seat. There we go.
Delete.
Trying to share the link.
There you go.
Oh yeah, I should share the link, shouldn't I?
That'd be cool, you know.
You know, it'd be nice to help promote, you know.
Yeah, it would be nice.
It would be.
There
Here, I got you. Here we go.
you go. United by honor. Boom.
I'm gonna drop the link in like a million chats. Like everyone's about to just get lit up.
And this is why I won't promote it in those chats because I know that that's you. You know, because you're not in the same chats. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there's the WCW. There's the exhibit.
I promoted it. I'm promoting it on Discord and there's WW already, so I'm already doing that.
Sweet. Live
Nice.
right now with
I'll do it in the COH Discord as well.
Tre Mercer and Carter Young.
DMW,
And
Freedom.
you know what? And I'll just promote it in the stories. How about that?
That's a smart idea.
I'll put in the HLR 23 chat.
Like how anyone who, if they do join live, they're about to just hear us like, here's how we do PR. Like, this is how they're all just collectively just doing PR.
You know what we're gonna talk about though, and I'm gonna deeply get into it is whatever Crom pitch about that match. Yes.
Oh shit! Yeah, that'd be dope.
Did you hear about that match that Crom pitched, Trey?
No, I don't. Man, he has so many matches he pitches, so no, I don't think I know about that one. But we can definitely get it.
Basically, United by Honor versus CZB, Crom, and RW.
Oh yeah. Wait, who? So it was him, CZB, and who?
And RW.
RW.
Oh my gosh, that match would be weird, but I love it.
That's like the Instagram 6 right there.
That honestly would be the Instagram 6.
Well, that's what we should call it, the Instagram 6. What?
That would be that would for how we run ourselves. That would be the Instagram 6. Honestly,
that's a money sailor name right there. The Instagram 6.
And you know what you do? You drop on like New Year's Eve or some shit, like the end of 2023.
Yo, oh my
Make a whole event out of it. Make a whole event.
It would be an all-out event. Yeah.
I guess we call it like New Year's Bash or some shit. I don't know.
Some big thing. But that'd be fun.
Yeah, a 3 versus 3, and I've never seen a legit 3 versus 3 ever.
No one really does trios matches like that. They'll do like the 8-man tags because everyone has their own Survivor Series spin.
Yeah.
But I don't think I really see any trios matches. I'm hoping to do more trios matches. I feel like those are like underrated as heck. And I feel like we can save it for the whole episode. But I feel like certain careers start to get full circle, and you might want to start running tag stuff again. So that can be fun.
I've actually never ran in a tag team at all. This would have been the first time. I've never had a single tag match. I've
been in like 3 different tag teams and/or factions. I've been in at least so I'm actually the most. I'm actually the most like experienced in terms of like tag team stuff.
You are.
There was a faction that I was in like that never even got off the ground. We'll get into that one later, but we were supposed to do like faction shit, but like it's the most convoluted 4 people of like all time. Like
oh my god. We have to. It'd be great.
All right, I shared it.
And I guess if you count EFED matches, like if I'm counting EFED matches, I guess you could count one like back in like XDPW, like in late 2020. I think I had one, but like I can't fully remember the match. All I know is I ate the pin.
You ate the pin.
Yeah. That's all I remember from my XDPW. Yeah, but here we go. Let's add stories and shit. Here we go. Let's do that one.
You know what? Oh, is there any place I could just drop stuff and plug my stuff?
Yeah, man. Do it.
That's what not. I'm just looking at this particular group chat I'm in. It was. Okay. I'm in a call. I could name drop him here. What's his fucking name? That Angry Scott, Mason Meltzer.
Oh yeah, throw that in that. Yeah.
The Pongu, the Mr. Zapongu.
Yeah, but I don't know if he has like a thing where it's like here post like anything. Like I don't see like a share thing.
I'm gonna share in the EMW. He doesn't like promoting, but I'll be like, fuck you promoting. You're no promoting rule. Let's see, where's the EMW chat? There we go.
Fuck your rules, son.
Review, accept. There you go. All right. We got 3 more minutes, man. 3 more minutes. Oh god. Like I feel good today for the fact that I did my job. I was able to leave early enough to do the grocery shopping.
Right.
And do this. That's a big
dub.
That's a good W. I feel good. I feel good. You know.
I woke up at like 12 o'clock.
Yeah,
I moved the fridge.
Yes, you did. You moved a fridge.
And took little bro to a gym. Dude, that fridge was like it's fucking ridiculous. It's like 800 pounds, I'd say. Like it took like 4 of us to move it, and like this little dingy ass trolley.
Yeah. What's up, Rockhart, Al Walker? What's up, Crash? How you guys doing?
There's a lot of people rolling in here. Let me take a look. Let's see.
Holy Jesus. Watching a clip of he who shall not be named doing a suplex. That was vicious.
Damn.
Benoit?
Not that one.
Okay. I don't know who was it.
I'm sending it in the chat. Hold on. It's the first time.
Okay. Ooh, yeah. All right, 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes.
I gotta see this.
Oh, is that Gable Stevenson?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, man.
Is he your new favorite at the moment? in NXT WWE?
I mean, he's not even really a new favorite,
Yeah.
and I have a rant to say about that motherfucker, but I'll get into that when we have more of the podcast in general. But like that, how the fuck this man is a big thing? We're putting him on NXT, big deal about NXT. This motherfucker was drafted to Raw, like not in this most recent draft, the previous draft, like the previous, like the one that happened in 2021. Like the fuck, like why did he never actually appear on
I guess he's
Raw?
now a free agent, I guess, because he didn't get drafted this year.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, you know what? We are starting right now. Boom.
Oh
okay,
shit!
There
All right,
you go.
here we go.
It's exactly 7:30. So.
It's just 7:20 on my computer.
Oh, well, there you go.
Well, nope, can't start. No, I refuse.
Okay.
Oh, now it is.
All right, now it is.
We can start now.
All right. What's good, everybody? What's good, XVPW Universe? What's up to people who are watching right now? Last episode, yesterday, I interviewed Wade Ward, a.k.a. Dirty Mike, the owner of WZW and the person who runs the Dynasty Network. Make sure to check that out. Today's guest, this is actually our first time together talking together and together anyway. Like this is I think our first encounter of communication. Yeah.
Yep.
So United by Honor, funny. That's our name. But we never had a match yet. Us together. Right. We're just basically the clique at this point. I feel.
I think we've all each had a match with each other at some point, but like it's never been a situation where all three of us have like not even in the clip we did together. We've never actually been in the ring like at the same time.
We gotta fix that, guys.
Yeah, we need to do something about this.
Yep. I'm with it.
But so today's guest, I got Tre Mercer, the coach.
What's up? Am I supposed to say more than that? Am I supposed to keep going? Kill myself. No, I can keep going. What's good, y'all? It's the coach. My name is Tre Mercer. Longest reigning WCW Valhalla national champion, whatever the hell you want to call it. I got like 4 belts at this moment. 5, I don't know. I lose count. But I'm just
this guy. This guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Just the coach, the inevitable, whatever you want to call me. Ben.
I want to talk about the inevitable a little bit, but I'm gonna introduce my next guest, the super athlete Carter Young.
As he said, the super athlete Carter Young, the current reigning and defending MCW Global Champion, the DMW Intercontinental Champion, EMW Epic Champion, the owner of Next Generation Wrestling. I am Carter Young.
And I am X, and I just hold 1 belt, which is the television championship of Epic Mayhem Wrestling.
Get better.
I will. You know what, Carter? I will. I will. All right. My only achievements right now is 2 5-star matches with you guys from Call Observer.
Yeah.
There you go. I mean, that counts as something, right?
True.
Yeah.
I like that's just also the descriptor for all of us too. Like Carter has his bullet points listed, like every single thing. I'm like, I know I'm doing decent things. You're like, I'm just starting.
It's like the meme. You guys are getting moving. Like I have 3 belts. I have 4. You guys have belts.
You guys have belts. You know what? I got 1. I didn't defend it yet. I will
it's
change
like y'all
that.
Have, it's like you have plural.
You have belts.
You have. I thought we could have just 1 belt.
You know, I'm like decreasing the promotions that I'm in. You know. Right. I'm just gonna have 1 belt.
But I feel like that's the vibe though. Like I've been thinking about that too. Like
I'm starting to limit the amount of like promotions I'm a part of now. I think I'm part of like only 6 now on Instagram. I think it's WZW, EMW, Exhibit. Yeah, there's that one. I'm gonna check my phone just to make sure all the ones I'm in. DMW as well, CWT. I think that's it. There we go.
Nice.
Got them all.
I know the ones I'm in just kind of, at least the ones I'm in based off the belt I hold there. But I know, I don't know, for me, it's just been like, I've been around for a bit at this point now. And I just feel like I've done enough to where I've kind of like, I don't need to be everywhere. And I think that was the issue. Like, I don't know, you guys aren't initially like full, like Carter, well, you guys both came a little bit later for it, but there was a wave where there was like everybody under the sun had a company. and it was just like everybody was just like everywhere. So you kind of, and you just had to be everywhere to like get your name out there. So you just like, you had to be in every single company. If you weren't in this company, you weren't popping effectively. Yeah, now it's like, I don't feel like everyone has to be in every company now. I feel like it's getting a lot better to where I used to argue for a case where everyone was not necessarily exclusive rosters, but where people were more marquee talent there. And they would be more predominantly featured there, and to the point where it could become exclusive. But I feel like now there's a better case for that in the landscape of Call.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, when I had the hell of a run and when I came back, I was in a lot of promotions, but majority of the promotions, I gotta say, outside of the 6 HLR promotions that were in, the rest were just E-Fed and whatever. I was just trying to get my name out there, you know. People saw a match, yo, I gotta sign him. Okay, when's my match? I don't know. You know, I'm in promotions right now that probably didn't release an episode, and I'm in promotions right now that I didn't debut. They just wanted me because I was like I guess you could say a popular name of my run in 2K22 till now.
Oh yeah.
That was the thing. Like, oh, we got X. All right.
Yeah, I was one of those guys. I was like, oh, I need him. I'm like, oh, I like that guy.
And I think that you do kind of get in that track. Like I said, everyone has to have that kind of vibe. You get marquee names. Like I feel like I've reached a point where now that's me. To where, and I say this as somebody who's like been like extremely like humble to a fault on some things about that.
We were always humble. I'm still humble. I'm like, okay, sure, man. All right.
No, I'm not, and I'm with you on that. Like, I completely agree. It's just for me, like, I am, how am I phrase this? For me, it's one of those things where I know in a way of like what I'm able to do, but I never toot my own horn to be like, oh, you guys should book me and this, that, the other. Yeah. I remember when I used to like was like trying to fight to get onto cards effectively to like get my name in this.
Yeah, to do
now
that?
I'm at a point. Now I'm at a point where people are just literally hitting me up like, "Yo, do you want to be on the show?" I'm like, "Okay, cool."
How many matches did they pitch you against Crom? How many matches? Oh, can we have you and Crom this, you and Crom that?
Oh my god!
Like, I can only imagine that. Oh, him and Crom, because I seen the chats. I seen the chats.
Yeah, because you've been a part of them.
Yeah.
Usually you're a part of the chats. God, I can think of at least 3 different companies that have been like, oh, you and Crom could do the rematch here, or we would pitch in some capacity of doing it in WZW, but it just never really like the story wasn't immediately there to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we did it when we did, because it was like the perfect time, honestly, in my mind to do it. But it was one of those where, like, so many people wanted to pitch the rematch between me and Crom, or like, what's another, like me versus R-Dub is another one that's been pitched a lot of like doing a redo there. Lennon Walsh has been a match that people pitch when he was on Instagram a lot more too.
Yeah, like
people have pitched like certain names are like, oh, do this match here. It's like, but like it makes no sense to do that match. Like it's fun, like obviously for a one-off, but like the other day I just saw, and it's not to say that we're at that age or diminishing career status yet, but I saw a clip the other day at work from one of my coworkers' computers, and it was like it was Jerry Lawler versus Scott Steiner. You see Scott Steiner looking like a dad at a cookout, but like a motorcycle dad at a cookout, effectively. And it's just like, nah, man. I feel like not say we would be booked like that, but it just, to me, it's like, why is this match? Who asked for this match here? Why is this match here? You know what's like what?
What's crazy is, for me, it's more of, I have to ask. Okay, you have me. You don't know what to do with me. So in my head, I'm like, who do you want me to put over? That was my thing. I never got pitched a match till later on, because I'm still brand new. Okay, they signed me. They saw this, me versus Carter Young. Yo, that's great. Then, Malenko, I had to ask, like, okay, who do you have that you want me to put over? I never got pitched a dream match like that scenario. Like I came up to Carter. Carter was like, hey, like, because I had a match with Alex Haas. The only reason, because he's my boy. We live in the same city. He's associate. You know, he knows Gates. Gates knows me. Okay, but I had to feel like, okay, who's a guy, big name, you know, well known in the community, who can I have a match with? And out of nowhere, I just hit up Carter. And I think Carter denied the first one, but then he gave me the okay on the second one. I think I remember. He's like, sorry. Like, I think he said no. I don't know. Carter, can you ask? Do you remember when I pitched it to you? Did he go? Did he leave? I don't know.
I don't know. Carter.
Carter.
Oh, he's muted. He muted himself, I think, or something.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, I guess
no, but I was
can
like,
answer. Yeah.
No, but I think the big thing for me with the going back to it for real quick until he gets back, because I do want to hear his side of this.
Yeah.
It's always just like, because I'm thinking about that stuff now. It's like people bring you into companies and you don't want to just be, you know your name value, you know what you bring, and it is a way of like, oh yeah, you kind of help like usher in people. Like I said, I'm at a status now where people are effectively calling me in to be part of these companies. Yeah. But like you said, it's like, are they putting me here just to put somebody over?
Yeah.
To put some, and I don't mind it because it's like for me, it's a big thing. For me, it's a big thing of like, I've always cherished the thought of everybody should be able to win in some capacity. Like not all the time, like obviously, but everyone should be able to have their moment of saying like they stood out for XYZ reason and had a moment in the sun. Because if only the same 4 people are on top, then we're never gonna have, like, you can have a Mount Rushmore, but the point of a Mount Rushmore is the argument of who is supposed to fit on there. You're supposed to have a surplus of people, and you have to decide between the 4. There shouldn't only be 4, because there's like a default 4. You know what I mean? Like, there should be spaces for people who should be able to move up and argue and be in that position. And I think that's what I like the most. I do appreciate that part of it, at least. It's like I can help elevate somebody, but I don't want to only be there to elevate. It's like, all right, thank you, bye. Like,
I think for me, it's more of a little bit of what you said, but my run was, I guess, my 2K22 run, and I guess early 2K23, because I did have a couple HLR matches, was I call it my indie run. So I'm paying my dues. Who do I got to put over? I'll put over you. I'll put over you. I'll put over. I'm like Terry Funk right now. I'll put over you. Like, I think I can have a good match with you, you know. And these are in EFED companies, but I'm doing HLR matches for them. I could do you. I could put, you know, all that.
Exactly.
Stuff. So that's me. Like, I wouldn't mind doing that, because but now I somewhat know my worth. You know, I'm not gonna complain about a booking, but I'm like, okay, like I need some W's under my belt. But luckily, but in my head, I'm also playing the whole, like, somebody's gonna notice my worth. And luckily, it was EMW Sean Lyoto. He said, "Yeah, we want to put a belt on you." I'm like, "Oh shit, okay, all right."
But I also think that also played to your strength, though, is the fact that you were also offering something that was different from it. Like you said, you were going to EFED companies and still pitch doing HLR matches. Yeah. Like, you knew what you wanted to do, and you still found a way to feed it into an already existing product, albeit a little bit different. And that's cool. And that's what I think what helped your stock rise a lot for me, especially, and seeing you grow was the fact of, like, you hit the ground running. Like, compared to anybody else I've seen with this shit, you've hit the ground running, like, immediately. Yeah, and picked up on it much quicker than anybody.
I was on crack mode, bro. I was on.
Oh, honestly, like demon time for real, and it was it was immaculate to see, because it's like I'm glad to like call you my brother and be at this level with you, because you actually worked to this shit. Like, it's different to be like someone, like, you hear people like, I worked so hard to do this. Like, no, I actually saw him do it. Like, you. Like, you talked, he did. Like,
yeah, man. Damn, Carter's still on this thing, but it's fine. It's fine. He's doing his reps again, guys. Carter Young is doing his reps again, so excuse.
My bad. I was fuck.
Yeah, you did 10 laps, right? You did your 10 laps? Okay, cool.
Yeah, my 10 laps. Did my 10 reps again.
All right, cool. So
get off and take breaks.
So I wanted to ask you a question, Carter. I know I pitched having a match with you, and you said no. But then I hit you up again, and I think you said yes. What happened? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember the first time around you had asked me. I just didn't know who you. I straight didn't know who he was, and I was like, "Oh, it's just another guy asking before a match." I was like, "Oh, we'll have one down the road, stuff like that." And then I was like thinking for like a few weeks. I looked at this at X's profile. And I saw him and Alex Haas. I was like, "Oh no, what did I do?"
Oh God.
I was like, "Oh no, I just turned down this great wrestler, this great recorder." And then like when he asked again, I was like, "Yes, 100%, let's do this now."
But give me the W.
Yeah.
This motherfucker, yo. I was like, you know what? Fuck you. Yes, okay, sure. You're a big name. Whatever. I'm not gonna say no. I just need to get my name out there. Just
Yeah. I think it was like my first or second MCW title fin. I don't think what's it called? Halloween Haunt 3 had came out yet, and I was like, "Oh, what if it like drops like right before Halloween Haunt 3 and like we pitched it like X wins the title." And I was like, "Oh no, that's not going to make any sense if I'm holding the title at Halloween Haunt."
Yeah.
So that's how it went down.
So I got a question for you guys. We're gonna stop talking about Call for a little bit. I want to know, when did you guys started watching? When did you guys really get into like wrestling? Like oh, I like watching this and all that stuff. So Carter, when did you start?
Really, I started. I didn't really start watching the wrestling product per se. I remember like it was like 2008 or something. I was like 6, and like I guess like a distant like relative or something for Christmas gave me and my brothers like this wrestling play set. It was the I think it was the Jack's Money in the Bank ladder match like play set. Came with like Jeff Hardy and Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah.
And so I just didn't know what it was, and then we started playing with the figures around for a little bit, and then we figured out like there was a video game for like this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, and like we loved video games at the time. We had the PS2 and stuff like that. It's like, oh, let's get a wrestling game. So we got SmackDown versus Raw 2009 on the PS2.
That's great.
Yeah,
Gosh.
yeah, that was good lord. I feel so young at this because I know y'all probably had like y'all were in like the Here Comes the Pain days. I was nowhere near. I was
not
born.
even that, bro. I'm in early. It's called wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
I had Nintendo, and it was called wrestling.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Yeah, I had God, what was the one? I'm dating myself how old I am right now. But was it? I had I want to say it was Warzone on the 64.
WWF
Like,
Warzone.
Oh
yeah,
God! You had to do like downright triangle up just to do a stunner.
Yes, dude, it was so.
That was bad.
Oh Lord.
And you know what's even worse about that fucking game? It was the loading screen that took so long.
The loading screen took me off. Oh my gosh. But continue, Carter. Continue, God.
But
really dating how old I am right now.
But yeah, I was playing SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, and eventually we got to like the thought of like, oh, there must be a wrestling show on or something about this. And so I think I watched like one episode of Monday Night Raw. I think it was when like Legacy broke Batista's arm with the chair on Raw or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But then I guess I took like a year off and watched TV, watching it and stuff like that. I guess I got bored of it. And then I really started watching wrestling around like 2010 again with like Monday Night Raw when the Nexus was like invading. And John Cena buried them at SummerSlam. So I was around that time when Sheamus was WWE champion, just won their steel cage match at Money in the Bank. Yeah. But yeah, like that was like the main like kind of starting point of me watching wrestling. It was a
Trey, we can admit that Carter Young is technically young.
Yes.
Yeah, Carter Young. Yeah, fun fact: Carter Young is the baby of United by Honor. He's
I'm 20 going on 21, so yeah.
It's cool. It's cool though, bro. To me, I consider you my elder, so it's fine. You trained me.
You're never too old to learn something.
I took 500 lariats. Yeah, man. I took 500 lariats from Carter Young to withstand one full force lariat from Tre Mercer.
Yeah,
so
just
it's
one.
fine. It's fine. Okay, Trey. Right. I'm pretty sure you have a really good war story. Let me hear it.
A war story. 4-7. Now, actually, mine was kind of honestly similar to Carter's. It was weird. Like take mine back a few years, obviously, but we'll say a few to be nice to my
1897.
Right. But no, me and my older brother put me onto the video games. We were playing like SmackDown. It was like no, it was like SmackDown. Here Comes the Pain, like the old like PlayStation game, PlayStation 2 game. And then I found out like a play like this is a real thing. Like this is an actual thing. Like literally, I think it was we were playing the game, and then I think we were playing it like right at the same time to watch like was it SmackDown or Monday Night? I don't remember. It had to be SmackDown.
Okay.
It had to be. Oh yeah, it was. I can't remember the full match, but I remember it was this weird elimination match. It had, and I remember the final 3 participants of the match. It was for like the U.S. title, I believe, and it was at Booker T, RVD, and John Cena. I don't remember the full match. I gotta look this. But I remember seeing that match, and I just immediately looking at him like. I was those 3 just immediately. I was enamored with them. I'm like, what the heck? Like this just makes. I already played. We were playing like John Cena and Booker T in the games and stuff like that. But it was just like, oh, like they're real people. Like what?
Okay, that's great.
These people can walk.
Like, these are real things. So it was like immediate transition and love through the video games for pro wrestling. Like just playing that one game. It was like that same day. It was like. Video game, watching it, okay, whatever this is, I'm hooked.
That's interesting. That is very interesting.
And what's funny to me is that my to this day, my dad and my older brother are like, you still watch wrestling? I'm like, yeah, like y'all can move on with it. I still enjoy this stuff. But for me, it was that, and then as you and I have talked about in the past, it was like I watched wrestling, I kept up with it. But I kind of fell off with like at least American wrestling. Yeah. But I would keep up with it through the video games. I would still buy the games. Like so I would be like, okay, that person's still there. Okay, cool. So I would be able to kind of keep track of it there. Yeah. But I started watching like New Japan and looking into old like Japanese wrestling videos.
And this was before. This was before Ka.
Yeah, this before Ka, really honestly.
So you're already into it already. That's cool.
I was I've always loved wrestling, and knowing that there was like Japanese wrestling, it was cool. Yeah. And then finding out like I felt again I would kind of fall off and all because I like to be like in real life I dabble with a lot of different things, like obviously dabble with all these different things that I got going on. Yeah. But I always would come back to wrestling like in bits and pieces, and then it was when I started. I think that at some point I just fell off like real hard from playing video games. I think I fell off like. 2012. I think I remember the last game I got was, I think wrestling game wise, I got was WWE 12 for a while. And then I think I picked up the game I picked up before that just to get back was, I think I played 2K14 and then I played, what was the one? Oh, and then it was 16. 16 is what got me fully back into it. And that was with it sparked it in my head. I'm like, okay, this is what I need to start. And from then I've been through and through with it. And it's also played into like my love for wrestling because I've also then started watching more New Japan and also dabbling into All Japan and finding my love for like the Four Pillars and all that sort of it's getting into just the styles of wrestling and getting more into I like to. As soon as I get into something, I start to become like a human Wikipedia and like to look up everything about it.
It's a good talent in my head. Like you ever heard like, oh, you want some useless information? Like okay, here you go.
Oh, absolutely.
Let me tell you the Bullet Club lore. It's one of those. So yeah, I totally get it.
Oh yeah, I'm like perfect for like if there was like happened to be like a bar trivia night for pro wrestling, I'm good.
You're right.
You want me there.
So it's funny because you two started out with video games, then into wrestling. For me, it was wrestling, then into the video games because I started watching wrestling with my dad. Then I played like wrestling on Nintendo, Right. Then I remember there was like a WWE Survivor Series arcade where Undertaker had powers, so you're able to shoot shit. I was Doink the Clown, so he threw his little shit, Right. Then I really got into it. I stopped. There was a time where I stopped because I was like, all right, what other stuff are there? Because I wasn't really into. I watched it because of my dad, it was this more of like I didn't have a favorite, you know, so I stopped for a while. Then 8th grade or 7th grade, one of those, it was the Monday Night Wars, WCW versus WWE. So I was a big, I was already a big fan of D-Generation X. I was like, okay, boom, boom, boom. You know, then I got into ECW because I have a house in the Poconos, so I would watch wrestling there too. And that's when I got, you know, RVD, Jerry Lynn, I saw Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko. So I was already a fan of that style. So I would tell my friends on the following Monday, you have to come to my crib in the Poconos. You have to make a trip because whatever WCW or WWE doing, it's not comparing to what ECW is doing. Like who? And they're like, who are you talking about? Like, you gotta check out this guy named Rob Van Dam. And there's this guy named the Sandman, and he just hits people with his fucking stick. It's fucking great, you know. So yeah, that's when I got into it, and I think high school happened. I think 2001, 2002 was what, Just Bring It or some shit. So yeah, I played Just Bring It, and that's when technically I got into CAW. Technically, it wasn't CAW yet. You know, it was more like create a wrestler. What's this?
Oh yeah, formula.
You know, because I wasn't able to do that on the shitty PS1 game with the crazy loading screens where you take 5 minutes to load a move. I'm like, the fuck is this? I hate this move. You know, luckily for PlayStation 2, short loading screens. Whoa, all right.
Yep.
You know. My first move, I think my very first finisher was, because I was a big Jeff Hardy guy, so already Twist of Fate, you know, Twist of Fate was in Swanton Bond. Like, all right, I gotta put these moves together. So that's the very first time I created. He wasn't X, he wasn't Four Eyes, he was just like Max, you know.
Right.
So yeah, that was the very first time I created my CAW. You know. Yeah.
That's kind of funny to think about. If y'all get, that's a question into it. Like, what was your first? If you remember, like, what was your first like CAW finisher and signature? Like, I haven't thought back to that in a while.
Yeah, I can really tell you because I had a friend, you know, because me and my friends had our favorites already. So my friend Jim, he loved The Rock. You know, he loved Rock. He loved Triple H. He loved Kurt Angle. So his he's like Tre Mercer. He'll change his finisher as much as he can. You know, he started off with the rock bottom. You know, then he changed it to the pedigree and angle slam. You know, then my friend Sean, he was more big, like he was like heavy set. You know, he loved the last ride and spear. So that was you know, like that was like the original three of like me and my best friends coming in together, and we just create our wrestlers. We would never wrestle though. We would never we would never wrestle each other. We would wrestle other people, like Triple H or you know all that shit.
Right.
So that's how I created my first CAW. You know, it wasn't really guys. Whoever's watching this, you can't even put logos onto yourself. So, like, I was good at morphing my face as best as I can. You know.
Yep.
And
you had to be real good at like understanding like actual mapping and like editing before Photoshop was even like an applicable thought in our mind.
Yeah. Do you remember you guys' first CAWs and all that stuff? When you created yourself on WrestleMania 2000 or whatnot or whatever?
I mean, my first was, it was just me. It was just, I'll leave my name out of this, but like, it was just me in the game and stuff like that. That was kind of like till, I would say maybe like 2K17. Like I didn't create anyone else except for like just me. And like that was, if I had to say like what my move was, it was probably something along the lines of like a power bomb or like an attitude adjustment, or when Mr. Kennedy was still in the games, because Kennedy was my first favorite wrestler. It was either like the mic check or like the Green Bay plunge.
Oh, so you technically didn't create a CAW yet.
No. Not yet. That was
so you never played like Just Bring It, Here Comes the Pain at all. Like you didn't.
Nope. I've not. I've got a copy. I've just bought a copy like a few months ago of SmackDown Shut Your Mouth. So I've got that one. So I'm gonna try and play it a little bit more.
Yeah. Like I
remember he is the baby. He has not played as many games as us.
The earliest game I got, is SmackDown Shut Your Mouth. Then like I'd say the next one's like SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, because I watched Xavier Woods and Tyler Breeze do like the what's it called, Battle of the Brands, and like they did like the GM mode, and like I was like, oh, this is awesome. I need this game.
Wait, so you got Just Bring It just now? Did you buy yourself a memory card?
Oh, I've had a memory card I've had a memory card for a while.
Okay.
I still have my original. I have my original memory card from my first PS2 from like 2005.
All right.
Like it's
Oh
got
God.
like back like a bunch of old games. Like I used to be like I'm a big Pixar Cars fan. Like that was like my entire childhood. I'd play the crap out of that game for like years with that PS2. And like it's just like the memory card's just backlogged with a bunch of like Cars games, SmackDown versus Raw, like all the old SmackDown versus Raw games. So yeah.
What about you, Trey? What was your very first? Was his name even Tre Mercer?
I don't actually remember what it was. What was it? Actually? Like, okay. Do you want to? I have two answers actually for this. So that's how old this is. So we're going for the first version of me. It was me and my brother. We were a tag team.
Okay.
Because when me and my brother loved, we were a tag team. So, what was his name? MJ Anderson. It was completely different. It was so goofy because I remember he dressed. The only way I could describe it, I don't know if anyone would get this reference. It looks like he dressed like Pac-Man Jones. If you remember him in TNA at all.
TNA, yeah.
Like it was just like he dressed like a football player. Well, it was like basketball, but it was like athletic shorts. He also had like a backwards ball cap too. It was funny too. Like I don't know why, but I wrestled with a backwards baseball cap on, like in the match. I look like the Black Jack Evans. Like that's the best I can describe it.
Okay.
What was my first finisher? Like that was the first with that version of him. I think I was doing. I think that was when Trey like that. Well, that wasn't Trey though. That was a different character. So I think him. He was a little more. He was flippy. So that was like it had to been like something crazy, like a 450 or something in the game. In my mind, I was like, oh, I got to do this crazy. It might have been like it was like a 450 or like a Phoenix Splash. I remember some crazy dive because
you know what?
The characters were different.
For our second match, you're gonna pull that shit off one day. In our match.
Well, I can't. Well, Trey can't do that. That was MJ who could do that. Trey's a different character.
He's got too big of a belly to do it.
I don't give a fuck. We're gonna take it back. You're like, and I'll mention somebody on commentary. I'm like notes. Oh, this was back when he was MJ Anderson in his indie days.
Oh my god.
On his Just Bring It run.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's like old lore. Like I don't even think I even count them as the same thing because that was back before like. That's a whole separate thing. I was like tattoos and stuff, but again, I don't even think I would have Trey wear a hat anymore. Like now I'm full wrestler in the singlet and stuff. But for Trey, the first finisher I ever put on Trey when it was in the game, again a deep cut for Japan. I was doing the Orange Crush before I even knew really what it was.
That's cool.
Yeah, I love the Orange Crush. Just the vertical suplex powerbomb. If people don't know what that move actually is. But I love that move. Just the visual of just a guy rotating in air to me was just always kind of, and I still used it for a while, even when I first got into like Instagram crawl. Like I think that was my first finisher in Instagram crawl before I looked around and I thought I need something I need a move that like for sure drops somebody. And that's when I think I switched to the Muscle Buster. So that's when I kind of kept that.
This was before you understood. I still have it. This is before you saw Samoa Joe, or you just already had the Muscle Buster. Like, that looks cool.
I think it was at like almost at the same. I think I'd seen Samoa Joe before. I'd seen Samoa Joe matches. I just don't think in my mind like, oh yeah, Samoa Joe does that move, and it clicked because like as a kid, I didn't really think about how things interconnected. As I got older, that's when the mind started to like start to get a little wrestling. More matrixy. Yeah, like everything connects.
Everything got to connect. Yeah. You know what's funny? I don't know if I told this story. I'm pretty sure I did, maybe, but not to you guys. The very first time I watched Japanese wrestling was a time, and guys, I'm gonna probably show my age again. Is I was 13 years old or 12 years old. It was one of the two, because I live in an apartment building, and the first floor of my apartment building, there was a lot of stores, and one of the stores was a video rent store where you rent. Where you rent videos, guys. Yeah,
Which one was it?
So what you call it? The name of the store is called Ricky's Videos. So it's
I thought he was about to say Blockbusters.
No, because you can't have a Blockbuster in an apartment building and all that shit. So
okay.
These are mom and pop shops. Because this is when Blockbuster was actually buying out, you know.
It was rentals. The monopoly, yeah.
Yeah, but it was called Ricky's Videos, and it was run by a bunch of Filipinos. And I got the job at the age of 12. And whatnot. I would get probably paid like $1 an hour or some shit, but I was able to eat for free and watch videos. And luckily for me, and Trey probably might be a little bit jealous about this, there was a whole entire section of wrestling, and there was a lot of Japanese wrestling. So
man.
So FMW, All Japan Pro Wrestling.
Oh my god.
And and I would get in trouble. And when you work in the video and industry, you have to play a video of what's popular so people can rent it, because that's where you make your money. So I would get in trouble because I would play All Japan Pro Wrestling, FMW, and I'm like, there's nobody here. Like, it's fine, And I'm like, there, like, this is fucking great. And that's when I learned about Hayabusa, Kobashi a little bit.
I'd have been mad. Like, my dog, this is Ricky's Videos. Like, who is coming in? Like, who is coming in here to where we need to have our country?
Yeah. Who's coming into a video shop named Ricky's?
Ricky's Videos. Yep, it was popular. It was fun, and I learned about the tape trade and all that shit. So, but yeah, that's where I learned about all the stuff. Anita and all these guys. I'm just like, wow, this is great. Like, So yeah, that's how I got into that. But now, so CAW. When did you guys realize about CAW? How did you guys discover CAW? When did you start creating your character and say, hey, I'm gonna birth Carter Young and I'm gonna birth Tre Mercer? So.
Oh well, I mean, I think I've told the story a million times. Carter Young was not meant to be the guy. Like, he was never meant to be the main character of my little community, like my little thing. Like, he was just meant to be like a throwaway. Like, oh, he can like go do shit like this. The assassin was meant to be the first guy, because I created the assassin first back in 2K18. Like, once I was done 2K17 with just me, I went to 2K18. I was like, oh man, I need something like.
Oh, let me pause you for a second. So I never played 2K17. Was 2K17, can you create an arena and have face masking already in there or not?
I was on the Xbox 360 date, like the last gen consoles.
I believe you could,
it was, but I guess maybe if I had it connected to the internet, maybe I would have been able to. But in terms of like Xbox 360 days, I wasn't able to do that stuff yet.
Oh, but the game allowed you to though, right? Like
it may have for Xbox 360. It may have, but I don't think I ever like played with it. But when 2K, I didn't actually do like a face scan to like I went back from 20 on to 19. I didn't do a face scan until then. So 18 came, I made the assassin, stuff like that, because like I was playing through the career mode, stuff like that. I had no idea about call or anything. Like, I was just in my own little bubble, like, doing matches and stuff like that. 2K19 came, same thing, made the assassin character, and then I looked at the career mode and I was like, oh, this is more of like a babyface kind of like story mode. I'm like, I need, like, the assassin's a heel. It's like, that's just not gonna work for that. So I went into the creation suite for the 2K19 career mode, and I went up to the nameplate, and like, this is almost exactly how Crom did it. I closed my eyes, went random down like the list of names and stuff like that for nickname. First option was Super Athlete. I was like, okay, we could work with that. Second time was Carter. I was like, okay. Third time was Young. I was like, the Super Athlete Carter Young. I'm like, yeah, that works.
You know what's funny? I'm trying to picture this, and I can legit see Carter just doing this, like, yeah. Oh,
not gonna lie. This exact description of you picking your call gimmick, your name. This is literally how Donald Glover got his rap name, through putting it through like a Wu-Tang Clan name generator.
Yeah?
Like,
really?
Yeah, he got Childish Gambino by putting his name into a Wu-Tang Clan name generator. Like, all his friends were doing it around college, and they were all joking. And he saw that name, like, he was like, "Hold on, y'all, this is serious. Like, this is serious." So that's what you just did. You just Gambino'd yourself. Somehow.
Yeah,
that's fucking great.
But yeah, like I ran through the career mode. His first finisher was the reverse swinging neck breaker, was where you backflip behind the guy and then hit the crossroads. Because like he wasn't like fully fleshed out as a technical wrestler at that point. He was kind of like a specialist kind of wrestler.
Okay.
So then 2K20 came, and like I just completely forgot about the Carter Young character.
Oh, you bought
and that's
that garbage?
Yeah.
God.
Well, I didn't buy it. I got it for Christmas that year.
I'm sorry. That's a horrible Christmas present. I would have just got a sweater.
I'm sorry for myself as well. So that's when I started NGW, which was in February, because like I had missed a couple days of school and stuff like that because I had gotten my wisdom teeth removed and I needed something for me to do, so I wasn't bored. Yeah. So I created NGW, where I was gonna have like my assassin character be like the main guy, and I was gonna click random on like a bunch of like the creative superstar kind of deals and just load up that roster with all those random superstars. And then I was like, oh, I still got this Carter guy. I mean, I guess Carter and Assassin could be like the two main guys on NGW and stuff like that. They fight for the belt and stuff.
Yeah.
And so then I uploaded the NGW account to Instagram, and that's when I started seeing like all these promotions, stuff like that. I think the first one I saw was like Triforce. There was something called Triforce Wrestling.
Yo, I love Triforce Wrestling. Shout out! I was part of that at some point.
Yeah, it was a thing on Twitch, I think, and I was like, oh, I need to get like Assassin on there, and that's when I started to like I made the Assassin account and I sent the Assassin, tried to give him promotion, stuff like that. I think the first one was Justin Massacres.
I tell you, Justin Massacre is GOAT. He's God.
Bro, I'm saying I think me and Justin have been around for the same time. I think I've been around I think I've been around maybe a little longer, but I think just the same amount of time as him. It's weird. Like,
dude, it's not weird. It's not weird. He even told me I started in 2016. I'm like, that's the time XVPW started, so I'm not surprised. Yeah.
He's like the one above all. That's exactly what he is at this point.
If Call Observer or some fucking journalist did a fucking Hall of Fame ceremony, Justin
has to be first.
He
has to be first.
He's got to be the first guy.
I respect the hell out of the guy, like 100%. But then he got fired from NOW because I wasn't too active in the chat. So, because I wanted to be inconspicuous with my character because he didn't really talk at all. And I was like, why did I get fired? He's like, oh, you just weren't talking in the chat. I was like, oh, okay. So then Assassin went to HCPW. I think like that was I don't think he even had a single match. I think the company folded beforehand. Yeah. So it's like he was kind of just left on his own. So I was like, and then I started getting the idea of like the backstory of Assassin, like he had an undefeated streak for a few years. I'm like, I kind of want to keep that story to where like, you know, he can stay undefeated like for me, but like if he loses somewhere, it's like, oh, that's gonna.
I got a question. For NGW, that was EFED style, or did you learn?
That was straight up EFED from the very beginning. Okay. The first episode to like episode 5, which is like 2021, was pure EFED, and I think like the first guy I signed was Cam Witt, who was Seawolf at the time.
So how old was he? Like 4 at the time?
Probably.
Bro, that's okay.
It's true.
It's gonna sound weird, and this is how I feel like this dates myself at some point too. But like anytime Carter brings up a name, I'm like, man, I've had an interaction with them.
Yeah.
We'll come back to Cart. We'll come back to Cam. Keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was Cam Witt was the first guy, and then he was like, "Oh, I got these two people named Johnny Riot and Kyrie Blackheart. Do you want to sign them too?" I'm like, "You know, why not? I'll sign them too." Then I think
so those are Cam's cause.
I'm not. I think they're their own people. I think like he just like quote unquote trained them like in terms of storyline, trained them. So I signed them, and then Crom was the next guy. When he was he was Andre Gates at the time, so I signed him.
He approached you, or you approached him?
I think he approached me actually. I think he approached me with asking to sign. All of these guys asked because like I was just gonna be like, oh, it's just gonna be my cause and my cause only. But then like people started to be like, can I join? Can I join? Can I join? Can I join? I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, come on. So like the whole plan for like NGW just went off the fucking rails like at the end there. So it was Crom, then it was JJ Ramirez, then it was. I forget what Jace guy's name was at the time, but he signed as well. And like, yeah, like then back to like the assassin story. I was like, I gotta keep him protected and where he can't lose anywhere. Yeah. So that's why I sent off Carter made his own account so Carter could be the guy that can go out to other promotions and stuff like that. And Carter first landed in WZW for Asgard 1. It's when Way was starting to accept everybody, and he accepted my generic call.
He said that your shirt was, what the fuck is this generic shirt? Fuck it. I was like,
I gotta find the picture of like the original Carter Young. But yeah, he got signed to WZW, and then I think later on he got signed to like LLMX, which is like Legacy World Wrestling's like underbrand and stuff like that. Yeah. And then he got signed to Legacy World Wrestling, XVPW. But yeah, like that was like the initial journey
of Carter Young. This was like 2K9. This was basically on 2K19, a little bit of 2K20. Everybody went back to 19. So I'm guessing in 2020 that all this was happening.
Yeah, this was around 2020. Then like I moved along with 2K19. Like I was kind of for some odd reason, I was hesitant going back to 2K19, and I'm so glad that I moved back to 2K19 because I think I wouldn't be nowhere near where I'm at right now if I did move back to 2K19.
You and I probably wouldn't have happened if it was. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. You and I probably never happened.
His career would have stopped like right there and then. Like I think if I had not made that decision, just like held out till 2K22, I would have been like in like DBMO or something.
Not the game 2K18, but what were you doing in 2018 during that time period, or 2019?
I was really just chilling, like playing with my own guys that I made, stuff like that. Okay. Like that was really the only thing
you didn't create you didn't create the NGL Instagram account till 2020.
Yeah, NGW was founded February 17th, 2020. Okay. That's when I had the inception of NGW.
And the Assassin's character, same time period, 2020. Then Carter Young.
The exact same.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Tre Mercer, let me hear your fucking war story. When did Justin Massacre discovered you?
When did Justin Lord? God, what was the get? So I'm trying to think like how it actually. I was trying to recount my story while listening to Carter.
There we go.
There we go.
I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Trey.
Disappeared.
I think we lost Tre Mercer, guys. Or is he getting his reps in? I don't know.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, there you go. Now I can hear you.
That was weird. On my stuff said I was unmuted.
Yeah.
Shit, there's the original Carter Young. I almost sent the original Carter Young. Oh god. There it is.
What was it? Oh, hold on. He sent it to our chat. We got to see this. Oh Lord, yeah, the flame pants.
The flame pants.
Oh, you wore flame pants?
That was the Rick Rude pants.
God, you look like a fucking heel.
Yeah, you do not look like a babyface at all. That looks very.
I was as generic as they come.
Yeah, that looks like these are my first tights. Like,
no lie. I think. Wow. Okay.
And then to compare to 23, like that's just a major difference.
Yeah.
A major upgrade.
Yeah, especially the face. Yeah, the face. The face looks very baby face too. So yeah.
Okay, but for me, it was like very much like when I came back into it, I just wanted to make something different than what I did when I was a kid. I knew I wanted to do something that was a little more adults. Like I wanted to be more based on power because like I played sports and I was actually able to play, like I played football and wrestled for like 11 years at that point. So like I just had been so used to being like an athlete in some capacity that I just wanted to like put that into the character. I wasn't a super athlete, but I wanted to make him an athlete. I wanted to make him something of that nature where I could like put that into it. So I came around thinking of names, and I didn't want to be the Anderson name again. I wanted to be something different. And so I'm always a movie buff. So I love movies. I like watching them. And a very underrated movie, in my opinion, it may not be in my top 10, but it's one of those movies that I think kind of has to be for how much it's done for my character in this stuff. It's Four Brothers, if you guys have ever seen it.
Oh, of course. Mark Wahlberg and all. Yeah.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg, Tyrese Gibson.
Was LL Cool J in it?
No, that that was Eric, Andre Benjamin's in it. Andre 3000, that's
yes,
the
Andre
rapper.
2000, Andre 2000. Yes.
Terrence Howard's in it as well. Um, Sofia Vergara's in it randomly as well.
Yep.
Garrett Hudlin, which is he's a good actor as well too. But it's just all these, and it was directed by John Singleton, God rest his soul as well, who directed Boys in the Hood. So it was just like, it was that last name Mercer that stood out to me, and this is before I realized how generic the name Mercer would become in call for a lot of like the Twitter side of it. But
Really?
I was like, for me, apparently there's a lot of people on Twitter with the last name Mercer didn't know it. But for me, when it came down to Instagram, I was the first Mercer. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just do this. And I was, at least for any other company, I was doing for. But what's funny? Side note, back to that real quick. It was there was somebody in another company I was that I had first joined, because I'm going back to when I first was doing call as comp, like when I was just doing player versus player.
What year was this?
This would be like 2016, 2015, 2016 era. So like,
so
around
you're
then.
playing 2K15 or 16 or 17?
I'm playing. I first got back in like 2K16. So like I'm playing like 2K16, like online, like 2K16, 2K17 around then. And initially I was trying to think of different names for Tre. I didn't know what name would work for him, but then I came up with Tre as the last name. Initially, it was gonna be Doc, like DOC, and I thought about that. It was something I heavily considered, because I thought about making DOC like having an acronym of some kind.
Yeah.
Kind of unknowingly finding out that'd be a Doc Gallows reference, but didn't think about that at the time. But it would have been like a very like, the more you know.
Yeah.
So, but then I remember, and it was funny because in real life, one of my roommates was a professional wrestler.
Oh.
So, I'll say this: he's a failed professional wrestler. He quit. I'll say failed in this capacity. And he's self-admittedly a failed wrestler. It's funny because he showed me one of his promos. I gotta find this shit. But he sent me one of his promos, and his character, they tried to say wrestled in New Japan. I'm like, that man has never been to Japan a day in his life.
And you'd be like, trust me, I would know.
I'm like, this man is the palest man I've ever seen in my life. He has never been to Japan a day in his life. He's the most country dude I've ever seen. But it was funny to just seeing that, and he was like, because this is like even thoughts when we're talking about like if I was to actually pitch and do pro wrestling and stuff like that. Yeah. And he said, like, you don't really look like a Doc character. I don't know if that doesn't really work. Like, I don't know if you want the 3-letter name thing or not. But then I said Tre, because I even thought about that as an acronym, because at some point I think I had a name. I don't really change up moves as much as you said earlier. I do kind of stick to certain moves. I was just kind of figure out finishers. What I do change a lot, and people definitely know, I change names a ton. I changed the names of moves, a ton. And one thing I thought about, and this kind of with the name Tre, it was an acronym again. It was the real ending was what I thought about for the character. So like I thought about that for the names of moves. That could have been the name of a
finisher. Yeah.
That was one of the names of the Muscle Buster at one point, was the real end. But it sounded too long to say that.
No, that shit sounds fire. What?
That sounds awesome, dude.
I like it.
Right now I call it the Massacre is what I have as well, because that's a hip hop reference, because I like 50 Cent.
50 Cent. I know.
But I do like the real ending as a name for a move. I'm just like,
you know why it makes fucking sense? Because you end people with the Muscle Buster in all your matches.
With the Muscle Buster.
I think what's incentivized changing it as well though was because and this is where it gets real controversial sensitive for the podcast or not. Black men wear singlet, look like Big E, so didn't want to get the real ending, the big ending.
Okay, because of Big E. That makes sense. But I think you can get away with it now, you know.
Oh yeah, at this point now, I could probably get away with it.
Okay, so when I do your match card again, okay, you know.
You're Tre Mercer. Like, who's going to say no?
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's why for now I do like the Massacre, but if I ever pitch it to some companies, if like they want to call it the real ending, I'll fucking do it. Because I do love the name of that movie.
It'll be the real ending in XVPW. Don't worry.
But that was like the name that I came up with. That just kind of was like, yeah, that's what we're gonna call this. The kind of build the character around was kind of this, and that was even before I had the Inevitable nickname. I already kind of had the idea of fit like that sort of style of character, where it kind of was like not necessarily a gunslinger character, but more of like I wanted him to be kind of like a nomad wrestler, if that made sense. He was kind of just the one guy who would just go around and would just kind of almost like a Ryu. It was kind of the vibe I wanted traded in a way. I wanted traded kind of just be the guy who was like the competitor who pulled up to different locations and then was just like, I'm just here to like beat your best dude, fight your guy, and see how I do.
And this was
I don't have to win.
This was comp stuff.
What's that?
Was this still comp? Oh yeah.
Okay. This is still comp stuff. This is still in the comp days, man. I was doing stuff like that. But cool. Before I did get signed to companies, and I would do decent in there. But like it was one of those. It is where I say it's funny where I didn't know the name Mercer was like how it spread out in call was. There was another guy whose name was also Mercer. His name Matt Mercer. A different guy. Hadn't met this dude at all. Never met him a day in my life. But we're both from Illinois. So it was like kind of like we're both nice name Mercer and we're both from Illinois. I'm like, we could use this for a bit. And then we ended up doing a thing called the Mercer Boys. That was a riff off of the Dudley Boys. We won tag belts. I'm like, oh God. Like, so that's, I was like, okay. So I'm like, that's the first instance of me being a tag champ. So
that's fire. It
just became a thing where I'm like, okay, I kind of just like the idea. It started out as me doing this serious character, and then I'm like, I can have fun with this. I don't have to just always. I'm obviously still a serious character, but like I've learned to take jabs a little bit better and start to get a little more like fluid with my promos and whatnot. But I when I came down to like trying to figure out what was next, it was funny enough a deep name you guys will not have heard in a while. Chris Russell. Chris Russell was the guy who I met through comp stuff, and Chris and I had been. I think I put in a chat one day, in like a PSN chat, because that's how you had to communicate with everybody back then. Yeah. Before you knew like the social media existed for this stuff, it was like, hey, does anybody want to do a match or something? I don't know. Like, does anyone just want to play? And then he's like, sure, I'll join up. Why not? And keep in mind, like, this is me in like middle of Illinois. Like, this is 26. So I would have been at college. So this was in Iowa, middle of Iowa. Okay. Would have been middle of Iowa, and then this is in Chris, who's over in England, just over in England, like, and we're just having a match. Have never met each other, not at all. Just had a match, and it went like, I want to say it felt like 2 hours. It was either 45 minutes. It was a long ass match, bro. And it was a weird thing because like we weren't selfish at all in the match. Because some people just like, oh, I want to do a match, I want to get my stuff in. All right, GG loser and that sort of stuff. It's like, no, we just wanted to just do a match and just like try to get our stuff in and like figure out our character. And we just had the best of times. And it was cool. We became a tag team after that, and that's yet another tag team. Which you'll see. But we just became a tag team and became a faction at some point too. And we just it was just something that, and he was the guy who first ventured over to Instagram. He was the first person to go over, and he was like, hey man, I see this plateau and it's like area we could go for doing this call stuff. And he's like, you should probably join up over here. And I was like, I don't know, man. That seems like I don't want to get to the point where I have to do a social media account for this stuff. It feels weird. That's literally like how I was feeling about it before. I was like, I don't know, man. This feels like this is a different thing. Like now it's getting too like I don't mind doing it on a video game because at least it makes sense there. That's a video game.
Yeah.
like this is so like thinking about this now. It's funny, but like that's just what I was thinking. That it's like
loser.
Thinking about this, like this is such a
nerd.
Weird thing, like
yeah, nerd.
but then I joined up, and it's like, all right, cool. All right, this is something I like. At first, I was tagging with Chris. We got signed. What was the company? World Star Wrestling. That was the company.
World Star. World Star.
Coming from WSW.
Yeah, WSW. That's how OG we're going with this. But I had a match against some random person over there who I don't even know if that dude exists anymore. I don't remember his call. It was like Ray. It was like Ray something or whatever. I can't. It wasn't Ray Lethal, but it was some other dude. Luchador looking guy. But my very next match after that, and this is how far back it goes. So this goes back to like 2017. So when people talk about like how far back this would have been this would have been close. This would have been like about 2019 actually when this happened, because I had been playing comp stuff for a while. But I met Chris in like 2018, 2019 era. So I should have dated when I met Chris. I should have dated like when I had met him at some point. But yeah, it was like 2018 era when I met Chris, and then moved to call on Instagram about like 2019. And going back as far as 2019, second opponent was Kron. So I've had beef with this motherfucker for like 4 years now.
4 years.
Wow.
So
you are the Rock in Austin. You are the fucking.
Yeah. So when people say like, oh, like I was hearing you guys say earlier, like Hall of Fame, like y'all best be throwing me and Crom in that bitch, because we've been around for a minute too. We've been feuding forever.
The class of 2024, Justin Massacre, like his Jesus hands.
It's like Justin Massacre, Crom the Machine, R-Dub, and me. Like
that's a good first class. That's
that's at least that for.
But it was funny because you guys aren't retired, so it's like okay.
No, that's the thing. We're not retired.
We're not retired. Justin Massacre will be 50, like doing cause shit, bro.
And he'll still be going with DMW.
Oh, if we're going off that, then Rob Kamen needs to be in that category. No disrespect to Rob Kamen, but Rob Kamen needs to be in that category. But it was just I started through World Star Wrestling, and then it was APW that was going for a little bit, but like they dropped off real quick. I remember I got I got 2 shows in there, and then one was like a ladder match, and then a triple threat.
So this was still
which
comp.
Was cool.
This was still comp or EFED, right?
No, well at this point I had ventured over, and this is when I got to Instagram. That was when I was like, oh, this is EFED. So this is like, okay. So now I'm just uploading my call for somebody else to just like let stuff happen. Okay. I didn't start HLR till I didn't know HLR was a thing until
that's a story I want to ask. Like a question is, what was the first HLR match you've seen and you're like, what the hell is this? Like, I could tell you.
I'd seen like stuff before, like with I wanted like with FAM and junk like that, because Chris and I had always been like watching matches, and because he was pitching stuff to me for like, because deep cut for this also we talked about Dynasty, because like Dynasty World Wrestling we had started that or Dynasty Wrestling we had started that for a little bit. It fell through like complications and scheduling with me and Chris, and like trying to put content out, which I won't dig too deep into that, but the Dynasty Network lives on in namesake through that company, which I appreciate. That Wade is still doing, and I love that, because it's great that Chris and I got to keep that going. I got to start that at least. But it was Chris and I would always just like, he would send me like matches to watch to like get some inspiration, because he's like, this is stuff that we should be doing, like, because he would see other companies like Legacy Wrestling and all the like World Wrestling and all those other like God, I'm trying to think of other like SWW Coalition and stuff like that. We would see those companies going, and we were like, we want to do that stuff. So it was one of those things, and then we just wanted to kick it. We're not gonna ever say like we started it, but we're definitely like, we want to do this stuff. and we want to have the best time doing it. So it was crazy to me. Like when I first found out that HLR was a thing, I'm like, oh, we can script our matches. Okay.
Yeah. Carter,
when did you what we do?
Carter, what was the first HLR match you seen or that wanted you to learn HLR?
I think the first one I seen may have been Crom and Ray from Athena's Battlefield. It may have been that one.
Yeah.
I think because I remember that being like the first full HLR show. I'm like, oh, this is a cool thing to do. I'm like, oh, like now we get to script our matches, tell like what kind of moves we want to do. Yeah. But I'd really say the first one I'd say that really got me to start doing it might have been somewhere around Asgard 11. It may have been Tre versus Crom. That I was like, okay, maybe I want to try doing this and stuff like that. Because I remember watching that match and thinking, man, that could be me. Yeah.
Like, fun fact, that was my how many matches in was that for me? Because I produced that match top to bottom, but I forgot how many matches in. That had to have been like my like.
It had to be like 5th or 6th because you had debuted like the Trials of Talos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. Oh yeah, because I did matches through Trials of Talos. So like, yeah, that had to have been like within like my first like 5th, 5th or 6th match. I'd even say maybe 7th match.
Yeah.
But it was yeah, man, that's crazy to think that inspired you to start recording because I like how you record too.
Yeah, I mean, so don't look at my first matches. Don't look at my first ones.
But I think for me it was seeing Chris and Lennon because I think I was still in the I was in the same realm with them, and I think with me it was like for me it was like a kick in the pants a little bit. It was like I had been. So, like, kind of going back into my story of, like, what got me in the car at the time together a little bit, I had came up with them, and I kind of always felt like I was the other guy around them. Like, I always kind of felt like I was the third behind Chris and Lennon. So, it was, like, a big thing, and I would see them record stuff. I'm like, I'm here, too. Like, people got to remember, like, I'm the guy that's helping pitch stuff and do all these different things. And I kind of had a little chip on my shoulder of, like, I know I can do this stuff, too. So, it was seeing them go against each other and seeing matches. I'm like, all right, I should be able to do this too. It was kind of, it was one of those things of like, not in like an envious way, but it's one of those things of like, it kind of
motivated
like a prideful thing of like, I could be doing this too. And I know I should be doing this.
Yeah, that's how I was too. Like, I got to do it. I got to stop the EFED thing and I got to do like, I got to evolve, so yeah.
Yeah, that's really how I got around with it. Like, NGW was like, it was like getting good with like storytelling with like EFED and stuff like that, but I'm like, I can't tell like the stories like that well through an EFED match. It's like I'm gonna need to like step up my game and do HLR. And the first HLR match I think I created was Carter Young versus Lennon Walsh at NGW One Night Only, which that show was supposed to drop like that was the first time we jumped to 2K19. Like it was meant to be like this big event. It was called One Night Only because originally it's supposed to stay on 19 for one night and then go back to 20. So I think that was supposed to drop in like December 31st, 2020, and then it got moved to like the 2-year anniversary. Then it got moved to like I think July 11th. I think it got moved to.
Yeah.
But like that was the first match I created. I think it went like 22 minutes. It's so like if you watch it, it's so clunky. It's just spot after like it's just spot here, move here. No HLR edits. It's just straight up like moves and stuff like that. But
hey, that's how, like, so funny enough, when I did HLR for the first time, I was watching. My first HLR match I've seen was Namo versus Ezra Fox. That was the first match I seen.
Ooh, nice.
And that's when I was like, what is this? Holy crap. I gotta learn this. And XVPW Season 2 is just gonna be all HLR matches and all that. And that's what I got into. Then... funny enough, I was not in the card of like the big HLR show that I did, but I did HLR matches. I did 2 or 3 matches as 4 Eyes, which was my original name, and I got the concept of that through my old YouTube channel, which was called 4 Eyes, but it got deleted because I just stopped uploading shit. But that was my original call name and all that stuff. Then I wrote myself off in my show so I can produce more. and I was learning HLR throughout all of that. The time I officially came back as X and all that stuff, that's when I really studied my characters, like how Tre did and all that stuff. Like Tre, like hearing Tre's story, like okay, he created lore, and all that stuff. So I was like, all right. The only reason why I came back is because I saw a post and I was on the IG side of things, and I'm like, I saw something like, oh, there's a bunch of like, there's nothing but heels.
Heels and tweeners, yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
Not even tweeners. It was more like I asked a question. Why? How come you guys aren't baby faces? Because it's hard.
I think it's more along the lines of like everyone wants to like be like, oh, I'm the best, and you can't really like say it in like a confident way as like a baby face sort of. Like it's more like egotistical to say it. So like
I think
baby face is an insult or something like, oh, it's not cool. And shit like that.
No, I think a big thing for me with that, and that's what I always tell people. It's like, it's easy. It's the reason why people find it hard to be baby faces in general. Yeah. In pro wrestling as a whole, what's that?
It's hard to get cheered as a baby face.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's easy to make people hate you. It's hard to make people to give a shit about you. So like that's the biggest thing. It's like it's making people actually care about your character and like want to be invested in you. It's really, they can be invested in your moveset, but invested in your character, that's a harder thing to kind of sway. And I think that all of us do in a way. Like even I've talked about it before with other people when discussing their promos and talking and helping them. They've been like, I don't know, I don't want to sound like a heel in the promo. I'm like, well, the thing is this. I feel like a babyface and a heel can walk the line. You can effectively say the same stuff. You just got to know your conviction when you're saying it, and that's what determines. I can say the same thing that, like, depending on like a situation. I can't say all the stuff he would say, but I can say the same thing Crom could say in a promo. But as long as I'm saying it in a way that makes sense for me and my conviction behind it, then I can say it. But and then I'm still a baby face when I do it. It's all presented in how you do it.
I think it's
And I think it's because because I know there was a bet. There was a bet saying that like, oh baby, I'm like, I'll take that bet, and that's when I came back, and I was like, okay, new name, new style. I already know what style I want, and I already have like a good idea of how I'm gonna take all these losses and make them mean something. Cause like I'm gonna give you your W, but best believe the last thing they're gonna be talking about is you, because they're gonna be talking about me and how great that match was. And that was my thing. I already know how to HLR. I know how to script a match. I've been watching wrestling since I was fucking 5. I somewhat know what I'm doing. So, and I think the word X came because my name is Max, and I was like, you know what, Max sounds cool and all, but I'm gonna just chop the M and the A. X. Nice. The word comeback kid, I figured that's a very baby face type of like title to hold. And it was all thanks to, who do you think? Famous wrestler.
Oh, 1, 2, 3.
No. Fuck. I mean, what? No.
Just a massacre.
What? No. So.
Well, because I was thinking the comeback kid, the 1, 2, 3 kid.
Close.
I think that was
close. Yeah. I was the X-Pac of my group at one point in high school, so yeah, close. But
okay.
It was actually Heartbreak Kid.
Oh, okay.
Right? Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, and I was like, yo, I love the Heartbreak Kid. Like, all right.
Okay.
The comeback kid had the same syllables of each.
Is that what inspired your finisher to be called like Change of Heart with the Heartbreak Kid?
No, cause I'm a big Yu-Gi-Oh.
Really?
I'm a big Yu-Gi-Oh fan.
Okay.
So my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card is called the Change of Heart.
Okay.
I like how we all have like kind of like nerdy references with our finishers. And, like
the personality inspirations of like me working my way and all that stuff. Rock Lee from Naruto. That was my inspiration. He was babyface. I was like, if I can copy his story almost, like, you may be genetically superior to me, you worked out, but I had to watch wrestling matches because I was able to train. So I watch as much as I can, and to learn. I trained by myself, shit like that. So it was all thanks to Rock Lee, Naruto, that happened, Carter Young is a super athlete, genetically superior. Tre Mercer is the thing. Who's me, right? So I was like, yo. So now I train, but back then I had to train by myself. You know, so
what's funny is I was gonna say interjecting when you're saying that you brought up Naruto. I saw a clip, and I'll have to find it and send it to you guys. I saw a clip, unless I did send it to you already, but there's a clip that they said that Shayna Baszler sounds just like Naruto and Shippuden.
Oh my god!
I'm like, and now I'm like, I can't fucking hear it. I can't hear it. Anyone watching and in the chat right now, I need you to do this for me. Go watch a Shayna Baszler promo. Watch Naruto Shippuden back to back, then close your eyes.
y'all gonna hate me when I say this, but I don't watch anime.
It's fine. You're fucking American, bro. G.I. Joe, Ghostbusters, fucking all these, bro. I don't blame you.
I'll give you a shit. I'm 400 episodes deep into One Piece right now, and I'm still going.
Yeah, it's totally fine, Card. I don't expect that. You love hot dogs, apple pie, baseball,
cheeseburgers,
NASCAR. Yo, you need a NASCAR outfit, bro.
I'm a huge NASCAR fan. Like that was my whole childhood.
I bet you are.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Carter with a racing outfit as a casual fit would be nuts.
There should be a
t-shirt.
There should be a
not even a NASCAR t-shirt, but that would be a fire looking logo for you. I'm saying like you need to look like. I'm saying you need to look like
Tide. You need to look like fucking
Ricky
Tide.
Bobby. You need to look like
first
Ricky.
Last.
I'm saying you need to look like full Ricky Bobby. Well, Chuck, see, I'm the best there is. I need you to be full on. Hey, full on that.
So I got a question. When was peak for you? When did you realize that people like, oh shit, I'm taking Tre Mercer seriously, or like stuff like, or I'm taking Carter Young seriously? When was that peak where people realized that these are the guys? When did you realize that?
I think people really start to like open their eyes with like Asgard 11 for me, because that's when I returned to WCW and cut the promo against TJ Streets. And it's like I needed to figure out like, because like Wade gave me promo time against TJ Streets and we got the match later on Asgard 12, and he's like, you got like 3-4 minutes, like come up with this promo, and I'm like, oh, what do I need to do? I need like this baby face, like I got injured on Asgard 6, I need to like build myself up, like I came back and stuff like that, I'm back better than ever, stuff like that. And once I was finished cutting that promo, the whole WCW locker room was like filling up like the chat, like this guy could cut a promo, this guy could cut a promo, and then it like I think it elevated like at Asgard 12 when I cut the promo on Cassidy Osborne, my minute 12 like shouting promo at Cassidy Osborne, like people start like Chris Russell was like, oh, I want to program with him like now and stuff like that, like he wanted to program with me. Tre was one, like Tre like came to me like a few weeks later, wanted to like do a match with me and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Like
no,
I was like, oh, go ahead.
I know that I was just saying like that moment. No, like seeing your promo and like I was gonna say, just to champion you for a second on that. Like seeing your promo, it was like awesome to see. Because for me, I was saying the big thing for me, like I like characters and I like people who can talk and do good promo. And there's not enough people who can do that. Where they feel like a lot of people like whisper promos, and it's like especially at that time.
I think sometimes it's not really a promo; they're just talking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, exactly. or like they're insulting you. You know, so it's not really a promo. So there's no cadence.
Exactly.
There's no delivery.
There's no like conviction. There's no conviction with like the change in level and tones when they're cut in like a quiet room and they're like trying to like whisper and stuff like that. There's really no like elevation and pitch when they're talking.
Yeah.
So it's like
there's no detection of emotion. And I can even admit myself, like back then, I would have moments where my promos were a little like they didn't feel as dynamic or feel as like I knew how to like add emotion to them. And I feel like everyone goes through that, but it was just like nobody had really been standing out doing it. And then I saw yours. I'm like, this is what we need. We need somebody that finally has like a actual like speaking voice behind it that really stood out. Yeah. I was gonna say, to add on to your question, X, I'm gonna add on to it as well. What do you think? From your perspective, what would you say it is for that person? So like for for Carter, what would you say it is for him, for you? Like, in your perspective, what was when you say Carter's peak?
When when was Carter's peak?
Yeah, for you. So like so for instance, like Carter could say his, and then like then you say like what would you think his was kind of vibe?
I think Carter's peak, no lie, because I knew Carter through just watching his Instagram stuff. I never watched Asgard till later on. You know, I knew about WZW, but I never watched Carter. So the only time I saw Carter was his stuff with Cassidy. And that was the talk of the community. So it probably was what Carter was saying was that. Because because my run as X was 2022, right? All of 22 was X. So by that time, I'm learning everybody already. So I could, that's clearly a WZW guy. And WZW is that promotion. So I'm going to check his shit out. And his stuff against Cassidy, because I saw it through the stories back to back. So yeah, by that time I didn't even know Carter owned NGW and all that. I just knew that the rivalry, that the talk of the community was Cassidy versus Carter. So to me, I think that was peak for when I saw that. So and for a guy who starting to get to know the community and all, that was the talk. Okay, so clearly he's a top guy. So that's when that for me that's Carter Young's peak for me. Is his run with WZW against Cassidy.
I still don't think I'm a top guy yet. I still don't think I'm there yet.
I think there's still we all have
there's one more step.
Syndrome.
I think there's one more step that I gotta take. Like I think this past run that I've had with the injury, I think that might have been like my peak because like I was wrestling in like HLR match after HLR match after HLR match, and like I think that's just where I think the baby face kind of more like elevated.
I think even my match with you helped you peak because that's the first time.
100%.
I think Claw Observer was already the thing that was ranking HLR matches, so it was a lot of people was like, oh, what the fuck is this? We'll watch it, and next thing you know.
I still remember like commentating that match with you like that. Like I felt like because we watched it like as he was recording it, like he would send me clips and stuff like that, and then I watched the full thing like without sound or anything. Like, and I was just like, oh my god, like this is it. This is the match that like that's gonna like that's gonna like I don't know, I guess quote put me on the map like officially for like all around the community and stuff like that. And then when I commentated, it felt like I was watching it like all over again for the first time. Like it was such an amazing match. I think like it was so carefully crafted for every single like that's why like X like you're like one of my favorite like recorders of like all time. I think like it was I don't think I could have made it any better. I don't think anyone else could have made it any better. It was just perfect, I'd say.
Tre Mercer, when was peak for you, bro? When was like, okay, this is prime, like okay, like this is it. Like I know that after this.
Is it weird to not know if I've peaked? Like in a way, like I know
I can respect that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it weird? Like I mean, like I've done a lot of stuff in a weird way, but like I guess if we were to say like the first like, if I was to say like my first peak in a way, because in my mind I've kind of wanted to kind of position myself to be kind of more like a Sheamus right now. Because that's kind of where I feel like I've been here for a while now, or at least for a bit now. Now it's my turn to kind of like help at least usher in a lot of people, but like I'm still gonna be kicking people. So I'd probably say honestly might be that Asgard 11 honestly would probably be my thing. I think Asgard 11 was probably that big show for people because that's when I won the title. I would say even if we're gonna go before that, maybe when I won the match actually against Alex Haas in the on Trial of Talos.
So WZW, I'm guessing your WZW run.
I'd say my WZW run. I didn't because for me it was just like the first. I did get a lot of shine in WSW. It was just like the first because that was the first chance I ever got to like. They gave me a chance there to like fully. I pitched like, hey, let me just fight the world champ and see what happens. And that was when it was EFED. So, and I just happened to beat the world champ. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. It was like one of those like, okay, this is an accidental thing. Maybe you're not necessarily. It felt like it was Austin Theory's first U.S. title run in a way.
Oh, okay.
it was like, okay, you can get a belt, but like let's figure you out. I think when I finally got that win in the tournament, because I remember talking to Wade, and it was a big thing of I didn't get to talk about the other faction I was in, the Resistance, which we won't dig into that. That's a whole that's a whole separate thing. That requires its own episode at this point. With how big that is, that's like the fucking NWO of Call. But I remember Wade talking to him about it, and he was like, I want people to realize how good you are by yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, because I'd always been like in tag teams or surrounded by other people to where I really hadn't gotten a moment to stand out by myself.
Yeah.
So I'd say that would be, it wasn't necessarily, I won't say a peak for me, so to speak, but it was definitely the first moment. But I'll still call it a peak. But for me, it was the first moment of like, okay, people can see that I can do stuff by myself. I don't have to have like another person around me to like sell the reason why I'm here. I can still do this stuff on my own. And it was like, okay, now I have to cut promos by myself again. And I was cutting text promos. Like when I was doing the Resistance stuff, I was writing our promos. I was writing text promos and writing stuff out, and I obviously bouncing it off of Seb. Shout out Sebastian Lopez. But I was bouncing stuff off of him for ideas and like for promos. But when it came down to like, okay, I'm finally and building up confidence to start doing my own voice promos, it was like, okay, I'm doing this for me. This is my thing. I have to fully commit to it, and I can't back out of it just because I'm like worried about my voice or something. I got to just do it. And it was right when that stuff was popping off. It was even before the night started. I got the gear. Shout out David Blake for giving the gear to. I'm giving big shout outs to people. I'm not gonna say it was all me. Like people helped me and like helped me get this stuff. And you got to shout out the people that really helped you get to where you are, because you wouldn't have been where you were without them.
Of course,
right.
And I remember those guys helping me with my gear and helping me get stuff like fully transitioned to where like, okay, this is what singles Tre is going to look like and what I wanted it to be. And this is like back when I was just wearing trunks and the weight belt looking like Tomohiro Ishii. And I love that look choice because I love Ishii. Yeah. Ishii's awesome. Stone Pitbull's dope. But it was just that moment for me of like, I finally have had this journey of, can I be a singles guy? Can I do it? Was like Wes Lee in a way. It's like I finally got to do that.
That's what's up. Because you're already established, but now you want to rebrand yourself as a singles competitor. Similar to almost X. It's like, I know what Four Eyes was, but like this is me. Like I studied, I knew me, I know myself, I know what this is, I know the character I am. So yeah, I somewhat can relate to what you're talking about, because you've been a tag team guy, so now here you are, rebrand. Okay, I'm gonna be a singles guy, almost like a Sonata, in a way. Like fuck the blonde.
Yeah, I can see.
Fuck the mohawk. Gear
exactly.
Up. Like this is it. This is the best that you're gonna see from me now. You know.
Or if you want like a moveset equivalent of it, like the one that like moveset equivalent by someone whose moveset matches mine, it would be like Josh Alexander, because the North.
Yeah. That makes sense because he was with this guy. I forgot his name from AEW.
Ethan Page.
Ethan Page. Yes, that's right. That makes sense. Yeah. That's crazy. I to be honest, for my own, like when I think peak for you, I think the time I signed Gates to XVPW and he brought me into the IG scene, you're already the talk of the community. So that was early.
Like 2021 was the reign of Mercer.
Yeah, because I signed Gates during 2021. So when he told me about the community, okay, I asked him because like I've never been to IG community. All I know was Facebook and a little bit of Twitter because of Namo and those guys. But when he brought me into IG, everybody says, I'm like, wait, so who's the top guy in IG? And I was like, okay, well, it was, because Gates will be honest and all that stuff. Like, everybody's talking about Tre Mercer. Like, you have to check out Tre Mercer. I'm like, okay. Then, of course, that's what brought me to WZW, because that was the Fed. That was the HLR Fed that everybody's talking about outside of Combat KO.
Right.
I ready. So yeah, you're the 2021, and even Carter says it. Yeah. So that was your peak moment.
I was lucky as hell to stay in WCW for as long as I have. I'm a lucky man.
Preach.
Yeah.
Bro, I
like
think about that all the time too.
I think I heard somewhere like before the Athena's Battlefield, I think I was supposed to be let go. I think, like, cause like they had nothing for me. They didn't have anything. Which like going on to like people that have like helped us. Like Wade was really the guy that helped kind of mold the Carter Young character. Like I would always like send him like because when we went back to 19, I finally got the face scan for Carter Young, which by the way I've used that face scan ever since 19. It's just been moving on to different games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I threw in the face scan. I'm like, how's that look? He's like, oh, it looks good. He's like, change up the gear though. It looks too generic. I was like, oh, okay. So then I got the black tights with like the red, white, and blue kind of like angled stripes and stuff like that. And I sent that to him. He's like, that's the look. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I'd say if I didn't have the help with Wade and like Wade had faith in me, Carter Young would be nowhere right now. I think he would have just fizzled out by the end of 2020.
I will go out on a limb here real quick and say, like, because we both shouted out Wade, we both shouted out like that Asgard episode. I'd argue right now to say WCW is like probably one of the most pivotal IG companies, at least for when era, for when we started, because it was where everybody was going to like at least get there to make their bones.
Get their moment.
Where everybody was going to make their name at least, and then from there, like the guys who really true blue know what's up with that company, we're staying there. So we're staying within our game. So like we know we know why we're here, what we want to do within the realm of WCW. We want to stick around to make it like we want to be franchise players. Like this is a company you want to stick around for.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I see, because when I came here in the scene, I knew about WCW, but I know about the other stuff till I was X, and then I realized, oh, there's another HLR promotion, which is WWA, and Cardinals World Tour, you know, then Epic, EMW, so, you know, but it was all WCW that when I got introduced by Gates about the scene. I was like, okay.
Right.
But then during that same time, I'm like, where are the baby faces? There's a bunch of like bad guys. Like everybody's a bad guy, you know. That because then I was all right. I'm gonna be in the IG scene and see what's up. Then X came out. But to be honest, to answer my own question, I don't think I have a peak moment yet at all. I don't think so.
Okay, so I guess if we were to say a peak moment instead of a peak moment, it'd be more of like, what was a highlight for you, so to speak?
Not even a highlight, because I feel your top run was 2021 till 2022 and all that stuff. Carter Young, you know, so y'all already established. You have your titles, you know, you had your moments. But for peak is like crap. Like everybody knows John Cena's peak.
But that's what I was gonna say. Like I was gonna say, off to the side for me, at least, like if we're gonna go an alternative route for you for peak, I would say you have peaked. It's this fucking channel we're on right now. Like you found a way to like you found a way to like bridge the gap of COD to reality with actual like pro wrestling, like in a way like. I remember when I first saw the company pop off, to me, like that was like at first I remember some people were like skeptical of like, what is this? Like what is going on with this? And, like how is this gonna work? Like real wrestlers are kind of promos against like tall people. But then you see it and then it's like, okay, the production it makes sense and the production is there. And it's like, to me, that so like don't sell yourself short. This is a peak moment of making
because like I know the impact I have with this community. You know, I know that. But as a run of X, no peak yet. I have great matches.
For X,
I have great matches.
Still got ways. I think you still got. I think there's definitely like
I have more. I have more paying dues. Y'all paid your dues. Clearly, hearing your backstory and all that shit. with your runs.
I would definitely say we paid our. It's weird to think about that. Yeah, we paid our dues.
Yeah, you guys most definitely paid your dues, and that's the reason why technically I'm the youngling of this. Where like, I just had one championship, you know.
It's ironic in terms of like actual, I think in terms of actual age, we're the flip of like experience in terms of this stuff.
Clearly, you guys paid your dues enough in this community, and you had peak moments and all that stuff to realize like, yo, I'm getting signed here, I'm getting offers here, I'm getting offered there, thanks to this specific peak moment. So for me, it's more like, okay, 2 5-star matches with 2 of my boys. That's somewhat of a peak moment for X. But now it's like, I need more to pay my dues. So it's like, okay, we'll see this WZW run that I'm gonna have. You know, we're gonna see this Epic Mayhem run that I'm gonna have. And we're going to see this exhibition matches that hopefully gets aired. Because God knows, WWA and Levi's Connor, bro. Yeah. Let me tell you.
Well, then I guess... Lord. So, I guess then the question to me then switches from peak to more just like pivotal moment than of anything. Like the biggest pivotal moment of your... Because that's kind of, I feel like, how I'm more answered it for me, at least. Because it's like, that's a pivotal moment of like this shift when it happened. For me, because I'd say for you, then a pivotal moment was that 5-star with Carter. That was a pivotal thing because I feel like it really solidified both of you guys. Because I think when the 5 stars happened, I think the first one was like Amari, if I'm correct.
I think the very first 5-star was it Amari or was it Alex?
We were like,
trying to think.
I remember. I feel like it was an Amari match.
Yeah, Amari and Saiba. Yes, 2K.
It
was 2K22. 2K22.
Yeah, and I was like, that was the. And then to see you guys get the next one, I was like, okay, bet finally, like people who I can actually like more of my contemporaries. It's not just like.
And you were begging.
Saiba is a contemporary, but still.
You wanted that 5-star too.
Saiba and I just never like actually like shared a ring, so like I wouldn't. He's a peer, but like, well, he's a contemporary, not a peer. Rather, that's a better way of saying it. You guys are actually more like we've been around and shared rings, so like we know what's up.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Like Saiba and like Amari, I think got like the 5-star. I think like honestly, like a week before me and X got the 5-star.
Exactly, that's what's crazy about it.
Yeah, I was like, we were just off. we were just a week off. They needed to hold out just for a week longer.
And it makes you wonder about like the timeline, like what different, like how would the rating be different if your guys came out first? Like would theirs be seen as equal? It's like that's where the paradigm, or like not the paradigm, but the parallel universes pops up in my mind of all this stuff. But
you had 2 back-to-backs.
Yeah,
Tre Mercer had 2 back-to-backs. That was crazy.
Oh yeah, I did. I forgot about that. Yeah, I did.
You had 2 back-to-backs.
Just my one 5-star, I guess. I was thinking it was just my one.
Trey had 2 back-to-backs and a 6-star.
You got
a 6-star from another, not Call Observer, but what? Call Journalist?
Yeah, Call Journal. I got a 5 from me and Crom at CWT.
Let's see.
So, that was well. The thing for me, which I like reviews and I do my best to be like, oh, reviews are awesome. I do my best not to overinflate my head about it, but it was like I don't know. With again, like I said, in my mind right now, I kind of feel like even though I'm still like rising up in a way, like I do have a belt and whatnot. I feel like I'm on my Sheamus years. I feel like I've paid my dues. It's now time for me to help some people get over.
Yeah.
And now I still want to win stuff, but like
you're gonna come back as one of those like, okay, I'm tired of putting people over now. Let's do this. You know, it's one of those.
Exactly.
Triple H did that. Rock did that. You know. Yes, Sheamus most definitely. You know.
It's one of those where I feel like I'm chilling right now. Like I'm comfortable. No, I'm not complacent, but I'm comfortable. Like I'm good to where I know where I'm at. I know how I want to work the character, and where I want to go with it next. So I'm not gonna.
So I got a question now. Because you brought up a really good point. Now I want to know is when did you started taking your matches very seriously and scripting? Because clearly back then, early 2K19, and Carter even said it, like, you know, people were just going. But now scripting moments, high spots, low spots. I want to tell this good story. When were you so invested in telling great stories in your matches? Because because when I did that, I already knew what I was going for already. You know, because I did a lot of HLR, but now I learned about scripting matches way before that, so I already know. Okay, this is what I'm not seeing from other promotions. You know, they're doing good. You know, they're doing Spot Fest because clearly PWG, AEW, New Japan, Young Bucks. That's almost same era of 2K19. You know, that era of like wrestling. But scripting out matches, telling good stories. When did that really happen? Like, when did you change the style a little bit and say, "Hey, this gotta make sense"?
I think it's honestly when me and Tre had our match. I was like, because I honestly, when I started having HLR matches with WCW, it was Wade. Like, I just gave Wade my call and like I let him do his thing for like the match with TJ Streets, match with Leon Mototo. But when we got to me versus Tre, it's like, okay, we're both best friends. Like, we're both like good technical workers. We gotta tell this story to where like we're both somewhat evenly matched and stuff like that. And that's when I started really having conversations with matches and stuff like that. Because me and Tre went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, with, like spot ideas and stuff like that. And then like just individually, like it was really around when NGW started to really become like a full HLR company. Like with Midnight Massacre, that's when I had like my first like fully scripted out like show and stuff like that. Like where I was really invested with like the Assassin CZB unsanctioned match. Like me and CZB probably talked like months planning this match and stuff like that with different spots. And I think it went like 30 minutes. I think like that's when I really started taking like scripts seriously. But like in the case of like sometimes like I'll just need to record a match on the fly. Like Cook and Wade, I recorded on the fly. I think I had like 2 weeks to record it, and like but nowadays I'm starting to really heavily script my matches now with me and TJ Streets about to drop on Phoenix Rising Night 3. I have I even still have them right here. I have little pages of like note cards and stuff like that.
That's what's up.
Just like going through spots and stuff like that, rewriting finish and stuff like that. And I think I'm on my third different finish for this TJ Streets match. Like the first finish happened too quick. The second finish was like too predictable, and now the third finish is like, there we go.
That's what's up. All right. How about you, Tre? When did you started really taking your matches seriously and telling stories and all that?
I'm weird. I started out scripting my matches kind of like early on, and I noticed that I was like, when I was first early on with another company, I would script my matches, and I would realize that I was working with the guy behind the company. It was like he let me know that I was starting to get a little spot heavy with my scripts because I was like thinking in my head, like I think sequences. I think like what sequence you got to flow to this sequence to this sequence. And obviously I'm thinking of selling, but I'm just thinking of, okay, I got to get to this sequence here, this. So it became a thing of we would walk down like how to do a block, and I would kind of script it. I would script it out like a movie. So I would break it down to Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, like the flow of like how a match would go. Like, okay, we need to be hitting these beats in these parts so that people understand what the tone of the match is going to be. So initially, I was very like particular like about how everything was, but then at some point I got so used to my style of recording, which as you know, and Carter, there's all you have. Each of us has a certain recording style that's kind of noticeable.
Everybody can tell what an X match would look like. Everybody can tell what a Carter Young match would look like. I totally get it.
So, I just got so used to knowing like what my own stuff would look like that I just stopped scripting certain things altogether. I had like ideas for sequences, and I know like, okay, I want this sequence to happen probably about here, and I would just kind of look for like moments and within like my messing around to come up with ideas like, okay, this kind of works. So I kind of just looked for ways to like kind of hack the system to make it like plausible to be done.
I think,
and it just worked in my favor, and it ended up working to where I got so like, again, I would just get so used to it, I could script an entire match top to bottom without even having to like write any ideas down.
Do you do what I do, which is you work on the finish in your head first? Okay, how can I? Okay, I know the finish already. Let's tell the story backwards. I already know
Absolutely.
the beginning.
I think I've honestly rarely like written the finish. Honestly, I think I
Yeah.
start with like the first half of the match, and then I'm
Okay.
like, okay, where can we go from here? Like,
Yeah. I start with the finish first in my head. Then okay, cause I had to ask him. That's the thing. Okay, what's your finisher? Okay, in my head. I'm like, okay, how can we go? How can we work to that? It's like it has to affect the body somehow. So yeah, that's cool. I like that. All right. So next question, and we got 15 minutes because I'm gonna finish this at 9:30. Is when did you guys realize for us three is like we're gonna be a faction? When did that happen?
I honestly don't know, honestly.
Or like when did we realize that hey we're gonna work together or some shit?
Did we just like make a chat and be like, hey, do we want to be a group? Okay,
I think
cool.
that's how it went.
It's like,
I
hey,
honestly think I think it was probably X who started the chat as usual. X is usually the one that kind of has the
yo,
harebrained schemes.
So, cause I know why I formed the chat, but I knew I was talking to Carter a lot, and I know I was talking to Tre a lot through a match that Justin Massacre pitched for Phoenix Rising was me versus Tre. But we were talking so much together to the point where like I'm tired of this shit. I'm gonna put a group chat. Cause yeah, we're talking to the same thing. You know?
kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah. Cause I knew that, but then, cause I know somebody said that. I know there was a pitch somewhere, someplace where she's like, "Oh, top three baby faces."
Oh shit! I think it may have been like it was either CZV or like.
It probably was a CZB story. Probably.
He was like top three guy baby faces, bam, 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 and like I think. Did you? I feel like you replied like with like a story or something. Like I can't exactly remember. But then that's kind of where we started generating the idea of like, okay, like, you know, we can make this work with a faction. We can make this work.
Yeah. Cause I didn't even create the story, but I just know that top three baby faces: Tre, Carter, X, Tre, Carter, X, Tre, or like who or like the dream matches. Cause I knew that. I knew that there was a dollar debates like, oh, okay, X, Tre, Carter. But that was really about, and it was thanks to the group chats too, the individual chats, because we're always talking about the same thing, and I'm like, this is tiresome. Well, I'm saying the same thing to fucking Carter Young, to Tre Mercer, and I'm like, you fuckers, boom, fuck this, group chat, and yeah,
and they're like, hey, we here.
Yeah. We are. But yeah, man. What else am I gonna talk about? Oh, fucking pitching the dream match that Crom wanted to do. What are your thoughts on that, man? It was the thing is, Crom said something on the first episode, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I got this really cool idea. CZB, Crom, R-Dub versus Tre, Carter, X."
That's gotta be like a match that happens like one time and never happens again.
It never happens again. And I guess it's called the Instagram 6. I think that's
yeah, the Instagram 6.
Tre Mercer, that was your little pitch in there. Did Tre leave?
It says he's still in here.
Oh yeah, it probably is. Yeah. Probably have to use the bathroom. I don't know. But yeah, man.
Get more protein powder.
More protein. That's right. I think he's doing his reps now.
Wade was doing like what Tre was like speaking for like 2 minutes. I smashed a Big Mac. in like 2 minutes. I'm like, I gotta find a way to eat.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I'm actually looking forward to it. I wonder how that match is gonna go. What do you think with the first two people in the ring?
Dude, either you or R-Dub or me and R-Dub, because like me and R-Dub have never been like in a ring ever, and it's like
okay.
we have honestly had like a match pitched between the two of us like 3 times, and like it always fell apart. Me and him were supposed to go 1-on-1 when Dynasty versus Warzone was still happening. We were supposed to have a 1-on-1 match at Collision.
Yeah.
And like that fell through, and I think we had another one like it may have been like BWF, it may have been like I can't remember, but that got scrapped, and then WWE, and then RW left. So it's like we were we were supposed to have 3 different matches, and they all fell apart.
Damn.
I think that'd just be cool. Or like, honestly, that would probably be better if like it happened like mid match, like RW tagged in, like maybe like CZB was down and RW tagged himself in, and like I tagged it like from you, and then we finally got in the ring. I think that'd be a cool moment.
That would be a cool moment. Everybody had a pretty cool their individual moments. I see that, especially retelling a story from a past match too. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool too. You know?
Yeah, that'd be. But yeah, like has to happen one time and then never happens again. We all shake. I guess we all shake hands in the ring. I guess I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if Crom CZB has that mentality to shake hands after a match.
RW might shake hands, but then
RW, yes, probably.
CZB would like give us the middle finger, and like Crom would spit in our hand.
Trey, are you still there, bro? Are you good? You fine?
Is he on like the McDonald's Wi-Fi?
Probably.
Apparently,
apparently, Trey got his Wi-Fi from a Cracker Jacks box. You know.
He got in the Big Mac meal that I got.
But yeah, man, I'm actually this will be cool. If this match ever happens, I hope it does before everybody just goes retired or they just realize fuck this, I'm done with Khan. But hey,
right.
If it can happen, it'll happen.
Anything can happen in the
I think all we need is CZB's yes. Right? Like I feel like
CZB did say. I think it was RW that needs to.
Oh yeah, RW is the one who like needs to say, okay, yeah, I'm down for that.
He's kind of like in that like middle state, like after leaving WWE, because I guess like maybe he had like some stuff to do, and like now he's got like nothing. I guess so.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's tied to like one individual company. I don't think.
I don't even know, to be honest.
I think he just floats around. Like he's kind of like what's his name? I forget his name, but yeah, like I think he just floats around companies at this point.
But yeah, you know what? I think we're done. I think we talked as much as we can, and
we've finally come to the end of this long journey of eating protein powder, doing push-ups, and
yeah,
sometimes shitty Wi-Fi.
Shitty Wi-Fi. Yeah, correct. But anyways, any plugins would you like to do, Carter?
Oh, you about to get ready for this one? Okay, so here we go. You can follow Carter Young on many social media platforms. You can follow him on Instagram at carteryoung.2k. Follow him on Twitter at carteryoung2k. You can follow the NGW on Instagram, ngw.2k, and on Twitter, ngw_2k. Then you can subscribe to the Next Gen Network. Hopefully, puts the link down below. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see what happens. Then you can follow the Assassin on Instagram at the.assassin_2k. And I think that's it. NGW Ignition may be coming out later in a few weeks, maybe like never, but we'll see what happens.
Nice. Something must have happened to Trey. I'm pretty sure he's getting his reps in right now, so make sure to follow Tre Mercer on his IG and check him out on SWW at the Coalition Network. You'll see Trey there. He's killing it right now. But yeah, I feel like this is it. This is a great interview.
Great talk. It was very enjoyable.
Very enjoyable. Oh, wait. Is that it? Is that Trey?
Oh.
Hey?
Oh.
Trey.
Oh.
I thought that was it.
We had one tiny little piece of hope.
All right. Later, man. Peace.
Man, you have a good one.
You too.